Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We're in the Keeper's Rulebook for Call of Cthulhu. We're looking at the combat rules. This is a continuation of those videos. This video is going to be the part where we talk about first aid and healing and how long it takes to recover. Other than that, that's going to be pretty much everything for the video. We'll have one more combat video after this, which will probably be made next week. And that's going to go over the optional rules for combat. Well, without further ado, let's look at first aid medicine and recovering from the wounds. First aid. To be effective, first aid must be delivered within 1 hour, in which case it grants 1 hit point recovery. It may be attempted once, with subsequent attempts constituting a push roll. 2 people can work together to administer first aid, with a success granted if either one of them rolls a success. An exception is allowed when treating a dying character, where the best that can be achieved with first aid is to temporarily stabilize the patient. Medicine. Treatment of injuries using the medicine skill takes a minimum of 1 hour and can be delivered any time after damage is taken. If this is not performed on the same day, the difficulty level is increased, requiring a hard success. A person treated successfully with medicine recovers 1d3 hit points, except in the case of a dying character, who must initially receive successful first aid, after which they must be stabilized using medicine. This is under dying. The use of first aid to stabilize a dying character grants 1 temporary hit point, and it must be followed up with a successful medicine skill roll. A dying character that has been stabilized with first aid should make a con roll at the end of each hour. A failure indicates the patient's condition has deteriorated. They lose the temporary hit points and revert back to the dying process, in need of first aid and requiring con rolls at the end of each round. The medicine skill should be used to treat a dying character after he or she has been stabilized with first aid. After a successful medicine roll, uncheck the dying box on the investigator sheet and increase hit points by 1d3. A recovery roll should be made at the end of each further week of care. Regular damage recovery. Recovering from regular damage is relatively fast. If the character has not sustained a major wound, the major wound box is unchecked. The character recovers 1 hit point per day. So pretty slow compared to D&D. The best comparison would be you're a level 1 character, you don't get to add your con bonus, you're recovering 1 hit point per day. A major wound recovery. A con roll should be made at the end of each week of game time that the major wound box is ticked. If the con roll is failed, no recovery takes place that week. On a success, 1d3 hit points are recovered. On an extreme success, 2d3 hit points are recovered. Add a bonus die if the character has complete rest in a comfortable environment. Add a bonus die if the character receives effective medical care. The caregiver with the highest medicine skill should make 1 medicine skill roll at the end of the week, before the patient's con roll is made. Add a penalty die if the character is in poor environment and is unable to take sufficient rest, and or a fumble was rolled on their doctor or nurse's medicine skill roll. There are 2 ways to heal a major wound, i.e. erase the major wound marker. Firstly, when the character rolls on extreme success for their recovery on a con roll. Secondly, anytime their current hit points have recovered to half or more than half of their full hit point total. If the roll is a fumble, a lasting injury, complication, or worse condition results. Rather than rolling for a random complication, the keeper is encouraged to pick something that relates to the nature of the character's injuries, i.e. a permanent limp, blindness in one eye, missing fingers, loss of a limb, scarred face, etc., and make an entry in the investigator's backstory under wounds and scars. Unconsciousness and death. And the Call of Cthulhu is a horror game, and sometimes it may be more terrifying for an investigator to stay conscious. If the keeper wishes, a character may be incapacitated rather than falling unconscious. Equally, final death does not have to occur instantaneously, and the light in the character's eyes might not go out until after a particularly dramatic moment, or once their final words have been uttered. Keeper's discretion. And those are the rules on healing and recovery. It's very different than the normal games I'm used to, being Pathfinder and D&D. But it is very straightforward and makes a lot of sense. If you all have any comments or questions, put them in the comment section below. Until we all game again, guys.